Came a long way. Came a long way. I came a long way. Came a long way. Came a long way. Came a long way. I came a long way from selling that powder. These streets will eat you, get devoured. You gotta look on your face, dog. Why you so sour? You hid behind the gun cause you's a cow. In the middle of the drought, give me an hour. Just drink some white boys with a whole sack of flour. In this game, anything goes. If police kick that door, flush it straight down the commode. Cause you know how it goes. Maybe you don't. I sold a few pills when that blow went slow. Because it's death for jail. However it goes now. Came a long way. Came a long way. Came a long way. I came a long way. Came a long way. Came a long way. Came a long way. However it goes now. Though they say I came a long way, really feels just like 20 been spent the wrong way. It feels like I've lost the fight and heard God respond. My son, you right. Daydream about getting popped at the light. Stayed sturdy even though my partner opted to fight. I know I'm gon' have to leave one day, but not tonight. I'll just keep the motor running. It could cost your life. My partner looked at me like, damn, you damn sure right. School's out, eardrums ringing from all the shootouts. And I love in the hood when they bring them coops out. I love when old heads in the hood bring coops out. Yeah, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. And I ain't even mad at you after all of that, baby. Look what you made me do. Yeah, look what you made me do. You wanna be mad at somebody? I be mad at you. Don't lie. I did everything I could. Keys even did some shit he said he never would. But wait a minute, let me break it down for you. Show is you watching, I was always down for you. Look around your life, ain't no one around for you. Yeah, all that quiet keys ain't got a sound for you. I'ma keep it simple, ain't nothing profound for you. But on the cool, she was bad for my image. I was in my bag, I was down bad, sprint verse 24. Dear Lord, as my witness. Yeah, gotta get it. Yeah, the Lord is my witness, church. Yeah, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. And I ain't even mad at you after all of this, baby. Look what you made me do. Yeah, look what you made me do. You wanna be mad at somebody? Be mad at you. And I ain't even mad at you after all of that, baby. Look what you made me do. We gonna get to it. All right, one more. I lied. One more. From mother love. From mother love. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Greg. This chart. Oh, Tiffany, just keep it real, bitch. Just keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real with a mother. Just keep it real. Slithers, just keep it real. Slithers. All right. How's everyone this morning? I hope everyone is well. So, sorry, sorry it's been such a long time, I guess. Um, a lot going on. Working on a couple of projects with John Crimes, and I had woken up about probably an hour ago. Just got my mind on a lot of stuff, you know. How's everybody doing? And I think the takeaway is grace. It's forgiveness undeserved. I first want to apologize to Jenny at Gavel Geeks. All of this started um, with Jenny deciding to, I guess, talk or I don't know, stream something with Tiffany. And I remember how, at that time, how obtuse I thought that was. I mean, I was very upset with Jenny. And I got to keep it real. I'm just going to keep it real. Um, Sorry, my voice is hit. I've been doing all kinds of rapping and shit. And you guys know. So I remember asking her, like, how did this even come about, Jenny? And because it was like the first step to this crazy thing, YouTube, right? It's crazy. It is primarily, in my opinion, a place where grown adults can come and some grown adults can come and they can hate bond, right? They can come here and hate bond, and they can definitely, definitely be terrorists in their own right. So, one thing I want to get right before we get started here is when TM's check came about, I do not know why. I wasn't concerned with it. I think it was because it was the kind of shit to be expected out of that, you know. Been a long line of fuckeries committed by that lady, and when the check popped off, I guess I wasn't surprised. Was why I wasn't surprised. First of all, like who still has checks? Like I think I wrote my last check 17, 18 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the chat. I will, guys. And I can tell you the thing that I expressed most during my time dealing with Tiffany was empathy. My empathy button is worn out, right? When I decided to talk with Tiffany a little more private than here, is that a Cash App gang already? Gang. Oh, that's the real one. That's the real one, baby. Oh, John Crimes. 1 second. I've lost my damn voice, y'all. Yep. He's wanting to know how the mix is going. Oh yeah, Cash App. So I holy shit. That's salty. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for that so much. That brings us to Salty. It's like Salty's on cue. She's backstage behind the curtain. She's waiting for Benjamin Letterman to let her on. And so the empathy, after taking the research and the talking and the visiting and the socializing private, you know, Tiffany and I would watch what was going on the YouTube streets. With that being said, one of the things that always popped up was Salty or Nicole. And we would see their names in the chat. And the first couple of times that it happened, there seemed to be a genuine, golly, Salty, thank you so much, love. Jax, thank you. There seemed to be a genuine upset. She was genuinely upset. Now, the interesting part about the genuineness of them being upset is that was coupled with the check. Now, I'm not here to solicit anyone about how they felt about the check. That's not why we're here. But I can tell you that Salty, Cole, a lot of those ladies, they hung in there with Slithers. And I'm going to call her Slithers because I used to not like when people called her that. And we'll get to the bottom of this and you'll understand why. So after, well, today rather, I see that I extinguished all of my empathy, all of it for her, um, because she was upset about Nicole, Salty, some of these gals that have been with her for a while. I understand. I really do. However, it didn't stay real empathetic for a long time on her part. Um, so as people continued to leave, and see, she says they were leaving to go to AB's. And you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, I disagree. They could have as easily left to go to mine, to go here, to go there, to go wherever they wanted to go. Where they went was where they had been at. They didn't go anywhere new. They just stopped going to Tiffany's. And before too long, the fuck yous would come out, right? Now, I truly was empathetic. I am empathetic to those girls, to those women, pardon me. Thank again, Salty, thank you. I'm so empathetic towards them because they hung around through very rough times. They supported monetarily, spiritually, in every way they could. And as soon as there was the issue with Tiffany and AB, they just stopped branching over to Tiffany's. And each day there was a new count of people who were there before who were no longer there now. And I had gotten past, I'm not going to say gotten over because there was nothing to get over. This is the internet, folks. So I'd gotten past how I felt about Tiffany in the past. And this came about because Fizzle, you guys know Fizzle, she's a professional bridge builder. She kind of brought Tiffany in on the Linda call, and it was like, come on, we need to work together on stuff, right? So me being who I am to Fizzle and Fizzle being who she is to me, that was a very, it was an easy transition, very easy transition. So started talking more and more and more and more and more and more. And I just want to get it right out there. Tiffany and I did talk romantically occasionally, although that was really hard to do concerning all of the dynamics with YouTube, divorce. I say romantically, intimately. That's what I should have said. Where it's past that. And it was like a requiem of some sort. Like I sort of came back to consciousness and I was like, what am I doing? However, there's this very, very seemingly, and I'm not going to get into the intimate stuff. That's off limits for, there was nothing, but it's off limits for the internet in terms of, whatever. So, we started delving deep into different topics with Summer Wells. And I'm going to flash forward past a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with why we're here this morning. So we're going to flash forward to Margie. Now, understanding that Emergency Me is a lady here that a lot of us know, some of us don't. Emergency Me is, she's a survivor, and she was harassed by Prayer Garden a few weeks ago. It was very tough to watch. And inside of that, I had made a video in regards to Carl, and I made it with emotion. And with making it with emotion, I had grabbed a video from offline, snatched it, and then just sort of put it in the corner of my video and let it run. It's like 2 videos running at once. Not ever proof reading or looking at the video. I realized that some of the information about some of these women came from Twitter and that their names were on them. And I remember finding out that Emergency Me was upset with me about that. And the very first thing I did was take the video down, quite naturally, right? So I take the video down, and I remember sort of jump over here real quick. I remember sort of thinking to myself that what an idiot, right? And then I immediately sort of went to the other thing, which was, as a man here, I was and am not qualified to handle certain things on the line. And Emergency Me reassured me that, with the correct focus, you can, and that women need a man's voice. A man's voice. And so after the thing with Sissy, I stepped out on faith again, and I rebutted to all of that. And when I rebutted to that, I did not monetize the video. However, Emergency was upset that I think there was 2 people that contributions. So she contacted, me or Tiffany, and said that she felt, re-victimized, and which was not my intention at all. And so it was at that point I really was like, holy cow. I mean, the situational awareness and the like my inability to see the small thing that that could ultimately really upset someone, and in this case upset Emergency Me twice, right? So there was at a point in the whole Sissy thing, after that, where Tiffany kind of had questioned whether or not Emergency was a victim based upon the way she acts online, right? I could never make any sort of I'm not here to pass judgment about that. If someone says they are, then they just are. You're not going to hold trial against someone that says they're a victim, right? So I woke up and I turned on the TV. Oh, Lena, thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. I turned on the TV, or the phone, rather, and Tiffany was on. Slithers was on. And she had the damaged goods lady on. And I went in and I said, the woman on the right is a wretched soul. Have a blessed day. That was verbatim. Less than 5 minutes later, Tiffany texts me and she's like, what the F was that? And then she called right after that. And good morning, Casey. She was like, what was that? And I was like, well, that was a lot. And initially I thought that she just said, she was just kind of leaving that open because there were a lot of things wrong with that whole situation, right?
Margie had been assaulted a few times and has one, maybe two of those assailants. They weren't reported or prosecuted, so they're still out on the street. And I felt like that was such a detriment to Margie, because unless it's Don, I felt like if whomever had assaulted Margie would have caught wind of the interview, that, inside the jails, when it comes to essays or murder, and the way you get treated, people say they'd rather be convicted of murder. So you get my gist. I felt this urgency to try to explain to her how much of a detriment this was. Not only that, but I listened to none of it, but I can only imagine, right? I can only imagine. So I started in on my hypotheses about the interview. Now, so allegedly it came to be that Slithers was playing the video, pardon the train hill, was playing the video, and the owner of the video privated the video, right? So then she came over, that lady came over and came up, and that's where I had entered in. Now, just a quick rundown, like I saw the video shared on Chasing Truth's channel. The thumbnail is damaged goods. It's the words, damaged goods. What I thought was interesting is that it started right there. There was very little, there's none rather, consideration taken into what the optic of this thing looked like, right? So you have a woman who was assaulted 3 times, maybe didn't report any of them. And now the thumbnail to the interview that she's in says damaged goods on it. Now, I understand that's the lady's channel name, but certainly seems like we could have put Garfield or Papa Smurf or Inspector Gadget, the Matthew Broderick one, of course. Just anything to take away. And that right there, to me, showed that I had the same ability to make the mistake as that lady, except for I didn't chase Margie down. I didn't track her down. Margie's, I'm sure, been hit up hundreds of times maybe, and only now decided to come. And I was fearful for her, because not knowing who the people were, I thought, well, something could happen to her. Someone could try to retribute as a result of, the fear of, prosecution after all this time. So explaining this to Slithers, she took the video down. Well, she took the video down anyways. And my first question to her was, so you just told me you were going 3 or 4 hours. Let me back up. She said, why did you come in my chat and say that to me? And I said, Tiffany, you were on the left. The other lady was on the right. And then she said, well, why did you say something about fuck off? And I was like, I did not say fuck off. And she said, well, I didn't read it. Remember that. She said, I didn't read it. And we talked a few more seconds. And she says, well, that's what I read. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You just said you didn't read it. Now you've read it. That's the start. I do not know what you're going to hear. I do not know what has happened. So I say, Tiffany, you went 4 hours, and because I made a comment to someone that you've now changed up the hieroglyphics of it, you took it down. And she said, yeah. So initially it was for something between her and I still don't know what. I won't know what. And I said, well, Tiffany, you have done those things on my channel too. You blocked people. You block people, and she writes it down and then tells me afterwards who she blocked and all of that. I've never blocked anyone on her channel. Never. So, but that first one, remember what I said? That's what she read. But she had said that she didn't read it. There was an issue surrounding another situation. And I don't want people to speculate. So there's another situation that's completely harmless. She had sent me something and I didn't get to it in time. At least that's what I thought. So I had to call with Don and Candace. Josh from the lab was present. And Tiffany was calling while I was on the devices and recording and all that stuff. And when I didn't answer immediately after her first few calls, she began in with the venom, right? The real venom. And at that point, after she was that venomously mad, I wasn't going to answer the phone anyways. So she just kept going. So the next morning when we talked, she's like, what were you doing last night? No, wait. Hey, what were you doing last night? That's not it either. So I was talking to Don, Candace. She called me a liar. She called me a liar. The one that writes checks, the check writer, aka little check write, little checkbook, aka little starter check kit, a little starter check kit. I was like, whoa. What do you mean I'm lying? I don't like that at all. If that's how it's, immediately off the bat, out of the gate, like, Tiffany, I'll let a lot of people call me a liar, but not you, hun. So I said, I have a video of it. I videoed it. And then she was like, it got real, needs some WD-40, quite squeaky. And I was just sort of stuck on the liar, right? So I took note. Meanwhile, understanding that this same person is the person who I was going to go to Tennessee with. Hold on one second. So the Tennessee trip was going to be a responsibility of mine, like watching your folks' dog, right? Because she's just about it. You have to understand she's 5'1", 5'2", and got the legs of a ladybug. So it constituted a lot of responsibility for me to bring her. She's coming. To bring her to Tennessee, just in the physical aspect. So as we started to create plans to go there. Now, let me pause right there. If anybody's wondering why this is going on, Tiffany, she told me everything was cool. I just was like, listen, this isn't going to work out. I can't, whatever is going on right now with the mind switching in 7 syllables, like I can't, like, it did something to my blood pressure. I was so irritated with what she was doing. I could not make sense of it. And it was so abstract This is how I've been explaining it. Benny, the grass is green, Benny. Tiffany, did you say the grass was green? No, Benny, I didn't say the grass was green. That quick, folks. Benny, the dirt is dirty, Benny. Did you say the dirt is dirty, Tiffy? No, Benny, I didn't say the dirt was dirty. That. Now, in my mind's eye, I'm like, what is that? I was like, what was that right there, Tiffany? I said, you just said, yes, something was that way. And when I questioned it, you said, you retorted no. And then even to that, she said no. So I knew that we were sort of in for a little bit of a fiasco. It went back and forth like that for the better part of 2 days. But on the first day, I was outside. We were going through all this, flippity flip flop. We'll call it the 7 syllables. So she kept expressing these 7 syllable situations where she would say something, I would ask her, she would say no. And I said, what are we doing here? Benny, why are you mad at me, Benny? So she thought I was mad at her because she had sent me something. And I couldn't understand. That was about a week before all of the 7 syllables. I couldn't understand why she thought I was mad at her for sending me something, because it didn't make sense. It's like, if I send you a picture of a car, there's no reason to be mad about. I mean, why would I be mad that you send me a picture of a car? And then it kind of clicked. I was like, oh, wait. Are you mad that I didn't get to them in a timely fashion? And she said, no, Benny. So I was really at a loss to what even created this situation with the pictures, right? So I was trying to kind of check landmarks as I was going through too, right? You guys know how that is. Checking landmarks and trying to just remember my way back, essentially. So we got past, a lot of the Margie stuff, seemingly. Now, when the diffusion, let me step back. It became more and more prevalent to me as I talked to her in the next few minutes that there could be potentially the possibility that she was suffering from some sort of psychiatric event, although she wasn't at that time acting strange other than the syllables, or maybe a stroke. Like, I just didn't know what could be the source of this 7 syllable situation. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. It was completely one of the most frustrating things I've ever had to go through with someone. I could not make sense of it. And my mom happened to be, and that's the thing. I didn't know my mom was up there for a minute. Then she alerted me to her presence. So I was walking around where she could see me and hear me with the phone on speaker. Now, mind you, throughout the course of being friends with Tiffany and my mom talked many times through my phone. I would come out on the phone and mom would say, oh, must be Tiffany. Like, yep. Hi, Tiffany. That stuff. So we navigated through that. And at some point I hung up and just went to doing some stuff, and we got back in contact with each other some way. And with the next call, nothing changed. Now, mind you, the thing with Josh and Don and Candace, that call, when I woke up in the morning, because I didn't answer the phone, I had the most venomous text from her saying, don't call me again. I am not your person. You are not my person. And I'm like, whoa, hold on. That's kind of weird. Like, um, you just kind of made us seem like, gay life partners and shit. Like, that's no. Um, right? Like, I was in no rush to go anywhere and meet that gal. I was in no rush. So when I had got to her, I know I'm jumping around and just things keep popping up. When I got to her that morning after Josh and Don and Candace, she was very, very standoffish, didn't really want to talk on the phone. And I was like, what is all this stuff you're sending me? And mind you, I've been very patient with her throughout the whole process. I never lost my temper with her. I never called her any names. And that was one of the things that my mom had sort of applauded me on. She was like, I could tell she could tell how frustrated I was. And she was like, good job. Like, you just handled that really well. You handled it very nicely. Because it did occur to me that at the very least, she could be faking something like that, and I'm not saying she was. So I had to take it into an account. So once I got to her after the Josh thing, and I'm reading all these texts, and it was sort of one of those mornings where you're like, what the hell is going on? And she's like, what do you mean, Benny? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like, you just said a bunch of stuff in the text, throughout the night. And she's like, that's how I feel. And I'm like, well, I was on the phone with Don and Candace. And so I started to play some video. That was oddly reminiscent of the same actions, essentially, that it took for Slithers to get mollywopped by the check. You put something out there, she put something out there, and she has no clue what comes behind it, right? What came behind the check? A guest sign in. Hey, I mean, that's what it equated to, right? Like, if you sent money, your name went on this paper. Now, I don't remember exactly what she said was her excuse for her name not being on that paper, but I know there was one. Out of all the people, and there's people that donated $5, their name was on that, right? So when I pulled the iPad out and I started playing the call, it was that same effect. It was that Godsmack effect. And, quite frankly, the content of the call was, there was a lot in it. Don had admitted to in that call that the Utah police had come with 3 victim impact statements and not 2. There was just a wealth of information. That's where Don had said he wasn't looking for 5-year-olds' driver's licenses, stuff like that. So initially, I thought, well, maybe she was just jealous, but I had to explain to her that it was not preordained, it was not planned, right? I was on the phone with Josh, and Don and Candace called. So I just asked Josh, I was like, you want to stay on this call? And he's like, hell yeah. So we did the call. And I remember feeling embarrassed for me, embarrassed for her. I remember feeling, I guess, embarrassed and just sort of my feelings hurt, right? Because it's the liar trying to call someone else a liar. And I mean, I'm not going to say I've never lied in life. I'm not going to say I might not lie tomorrow or later today. But I try to make good practice of not going to the internet and lying, because I've seen these Godsmacks, right? I don't want a Godsmack like that. So we maneuvered through that. And then shortly after that, she called me a liar again. So that was, I filed that up underneath strike 1. When we got to Margie, I was much more educated by Emergency Me. Now, the interesting thing about Emergency Me is this. She asked Tiffany for a platform to tell her story. Tiffany would not give it to her. But she gave Margie, whose abusers are still loose, gave her a platform, and Margie didn't even ask for it. So I guess theoretically what poked out of the soil is that if there's no money, then it's not going to be on Tiffany's channel, so to speak, or the propensity to make money. Because you could not have picked a worse situation to the opposite of Emergency, right? These aren't, I mean, Emergency situation in terms of the other person is wrapped up, right? In terms of the assailants, it is not. Or yes, Emergencies is. So she would have been the more safe play, right? Also, I mean, can you imagine she wants a platform, Tiffany won't give it to her, so she has to go look for it at places like prayer gardens. I just found that out of the way. Now, what I saw in Emergency Me and her going on to Sissies, it seemed to me to be a very outwardly credible reach to try to help them understand over there, right? At the behest of herself. And I remember thinking, wow, that, the woman's strong. Like, she's strong. I'm going to flash forward really quick. After, I guess it was yesterday, I happened to open the Discord because everyone's talking about the Discord. I opened the Discord and I have a message from Emergency Me. And it says, Benjamin, if you ever need to talk, please talk to me. I needed to talk. So I'm texting her or typing her, and I'm sending the message, and it's telling me that I've been removed from the server. I can't send messages because we don't have a shared server. But I couldn't see it, right? Like, I don't know much about, I just couldn't identify what was going on. Once I did, I was like, oh, you're not in here anymore. So I asked Fizzle, would you please ask Emergency if she would be willing to talk to me? And so she did. And Emergency Me, she responded back with a fuck around and find out. Like, basically like saying, fuck no, I'm not going to talk to Benny. Well, I know you didn't ask me to stand in the gap for you. I felt compelled. And although I know I did it, I didn't do it the full clean way. You still were very thankful that I would do something like that. And that's when I explained to you that I'm a survivor too. Or I didn't explain it, but I stated it. Fizzle sent me back the screenshot of Emergency Me. And I can tell, I mean, what her exact words is it's so sad this lady is mean for Tiffany. But she put other words, the F word. I was like, yeah, it is, because as humans, when someone is doing something to you, infracting against you by your parameters, you want to be able to respond. And when you respond, you can't always promise that your response is going to be, on level. And I just thought that was so obtuse of Emergency Me. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to question her survivorhood. I question her motives, is what I question. I don't think that Emergency Me always, like most of us, is here for the right reasons. And I saw it, right, firsthand. So then, so it was last night, Fizzle sends me a screenshot of Emergency Me's response back. I didn't even read it. Like, I'm over that part. Like that poor lady, you know, I don't need anything to do with her, period. So, it's mysterious and spooky. It's altogether kooky. It's the Addams Family. She had been going hard in the yard on Discord and against Penny, saying Penny's ruined the Tennessee trip. Penny's done this. Penny's done that. And it was a special moment, because in that moment I could tell that, I'm not going to say all the time, but there are times where clearly Slithers feels like she does no wrong. And I just was beside myself. I was like, wow, like this one here, it's a lot. No, like just no earthly awareness of what's going on around, the people around. And I remember when AB and them took their part, you know, he said, she's a fucking liar. And I remember reading it and putting that emphasis on it, you know. And I thought, wow, like, what do you mean she's a fucking liar? I mean, other than check, like, I don't really know anything else about her. But I knew, though, deep down inside, that silently, there must be something that has really irritated Scott, or AB, because I didn't feel like he was just going to call her a liar if she wasn't. Now, the check doesn't constitute you being called a liar forever. It will, though, here. When it started happening to me, I started remembering all the good women, all of the really good women in this community that fled from her, like she's the Holocaust herself. And I thought, wow, she played my mind into thinking that AB is this like Jim Jones of space balloons, right? And I had to ask myself, like, throughout the course of it, she would say things, and I was like, I got to check. I got to pump the brake, because she's convincing in a very strange way. It's convincing in a I don't even know kind of way. Like not, there is really no, if you don't believe me or else. There is no or else. I don't know what the or else is, but it clearly is going to run her way or no way, right? So we decided that we would go after February 8th. And you guys saw there was a couple of things. I put an emoji on the community tab that caused an uproar. Don and them were going to court. Jody had court. You know, his birthdays and stuff. And so I said, Tiffany, let's wait until after Don goes to court, because I want to see what happens from here. I don't want to be out there seeing what's happening. Plus, he had just threatened me the night before, and so I was pretty wired for some sort of issue with Don, right? She retorted immediately, what, are you scared of Carl? Now, there's a few vocabulary words here that exist all over in the real world. Gaslighting, projecting, like, these are things that I've heard them before. They didn't apply to me. I didn't know what they meant. No one had ever called me these things. No one said I ever did these things. She is a textbook projector. Textbook. So it offended me. I was like, what are you talking about, Tiffany? Am I afraid of Carl? I said, aren't you the one that just got done going to your police station and reporting Carl? Like, can you imagine how silly you look walking in saying, I know you're not going to do anything, but I just got to do this. It's actually her. He's been in contact with some of them, or emailing or whatever. And she was very distraught. Very, very distraught about Carl. What is Carl this? What is Carl that? So I said, Tiffany, no. That's you that's scared of Carl. And that offended her. And I was like, well, Tiffany, you just went to the police station and you just did X, Y, Z. What do you mean you're not scared? Of course you're scared. It's okay to be scared, Tiffany, it's okay to be scared or fearful. So I'm like, here we are. This guy lives across the pond and she's scared of him. But meanwhile, saying she's ready to go. She's ready to pull the ripcord for Tennessee. Then she started feeling for me, right? As a little boy, I know I was one of the little boys that said, no, don't help me. I'm going to do it myself, right? But it's a difference between telling someone what to do or telling them what they're feeling. I have, for whatever reason, always had an extremely astronomically large issue with people that try to tell me how I'm feeling, right? Oh, you're mad. You're mad right now. You're triggered. I'm not mad. I'm not triggered. I hate when people try to feel and dictate and all of those things for me, because it's usually the ones that don't dictate their own feelings well that want to feel for other people. And that's just not going to work, right? So we did have the commonality of the Arnold Chiari, the brain malformation. We had that in common. And we would frequently discuss things because she has a varying number of symptoms, allegedly, that are ever changing as per the diagnosis of Arnold Chiari. But when she started feeling for me and took my kindness for weakness, I emailed her last night and I said, Tiffany, now let me step back. I made the mistake of hanging up on her Friday night. Made the mistake of hanging up, and this woman, she had to call 50, 60 times. Then she started texting, spam texting, and it was the same message. Please do not contact me anymore. Anything I have to say about you, I'll say publicly. And I didn't even answer her back to say, I'm not texting you. I haven't texted you. She knows I hadn't texted her. If I had texted her, she wouldn't be texting me that stuff. So it was still right there. Now, meanwhile, as we traversed through all of the 7-syllable stuff, there were insults being thrown out my way. And each time she insulted me, I took a mental note. We got to a point, she's like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, you've been insulting me and doing this weird thing. I don't know what it is. She said, I haven't insulted you. And I started to bring up the things she had said that were insults. And I don't know, I'd never seen Slithers that way. It was almost like maybe that was her brand of submissiveness, but no. It wasn't, because she called me at like 4 or 5 on Saturday morning. And she started in. And I asked her, I hadn't said this to that point. I said, Tiffany, please refrain from contacting me anymore. Like, this is This is out of control. I cannot make sense of this. I said earlier, I thought maybe you were having some sort of psychiatric event or a stroke, a cranial event. Now I don't know what you got going on, but I don't think you're in jeopardy of anything like that. So please refrain from calling me. And I mean, she woke me up. I came out here. It was maybe not even, probably 4 or 5. Yeah, I said that, 4 or 5. So it's still dark. I'm out there, and I could not control myself talking loud. The neighbor came out, and when the neighbor came out, I was like, listen, Tiffany, this is enough. Like, I don't even realize that I'm talking this loud. Like, I can't do this anymore. And she immediately went to the Discord. Now, before she did that, she made a comment about Penny. I don't remember what the comment was. And I said that I was, how I first stated it, I was proud of Fizzle. And she snapped. She said, oh, you're praising Fizzle in front of me? I mean, I didn't know there was an issue with her and Fizzle. I do now. It's all about Brad. So Tiffany asked Fizzle to see her Brad messages, and Fizzle's phone, the screen is burnt up. It's out. So Fizzle turns around and asks Tiffany to see her Brad stuff, and she said no. So you've got 2 women who said no to the same thing, except for one's vastly different than the other. One's stuck in the phone. And what she told Tiffany is if LE needs them, I'm sure they can get them out. Right? Now, Tiffany just didn't want to give them up because I was told that Tiffany was sending nudes to Brad. I don't know that to be true. I do not know that to be true. I'm just saying that that's what I was told, right? So I said, Tiffany, okay, sorry about that. So Fizzle, she decided to step down before it got venomous, and she was going to have an issue. And I applauded not only her family's hopes and wishes that we could just sort of narrow this on, just stop this, okay? And there wasn't a war, there wasn't a conflict, there wasn't a part 2. Fizzle fell into the arms of her family and was, yes, we can do that. And she took her channel down. Essentially, stopping all of the BS. So I felt like that was really powerful because I couldn't do it. I didn't do it. It was hell. Benny Keys only quit the internet or doing this when Tiffany did what she did, not the CPS or any of that. So I told her I would do that too. And that's the thing. I told her when or if this happened that I would hide my channel. And when I saw what she was doing, I was really, really, really hurt. I was really hurt because I adore Luda. I adore Lippy. I adore Bridget. I adore all those gals. And I'm not a nail shop flip-flop. I'm a real person. And when these people started in with their stuff, I just felt like I wasted however much of my life on a situation that maybe Tiffany had set up a mousetrap and the punishment was, oh, you're going to lose a couple of months of your life. Like, yeah, I wasted this time in my life. Now, I want to preface it really quick. Don't be confused. There were no feelings of love whatsoever. Just admiration. Because really what happened during that time, and I have to give credit where credit's due to Tiffany. While I was there, a lot of things in the Wells case popped up that I didn't either know about or didn't know full context. So Tiffany's not too bad at trying to remember where things are. But Lippy and Bridget, I would damn near say those ladies have photographical memories. There were times I asked questions Tiffany would go ask, and not only did she know what the situation was, but actually had a screen recording of it. And so, shouts out to Lippy and Bridget and Luda. Part of the reason why I don't want to do this anymore is because of the dynamics. It's a prism. You got us on God's green earth right here. And as soon as you enter into this camera, it twists upside down. So what's good is bad and what's bad is good. People hate bond instead of bond over things they have in common. And that was sort of what was a little bit different about what the situation with Tiffany and I was like, because she and I had a lot in common. I mean, a whole lot. And it was like, oh, this is just cool. No one was making any plans for anything other than just going to Tennessee. And there was an issue that she had where she had to get a new debit card. So that kind of held it up. And then for me, when I saw Chris and Trudy in Jody's messages, that sort of changed it up for me, because that's on a whole nother level. But I do want to say again, like Bridget, Luda, Lippy, like you gals are really good gals. And I didn't want any of this to happen, but whatever did happen, I could not be a party to it anymore. The Margie thing was over the line. And we discussed that, we ping-ponged it or pinballed it as we went through the last communications. And I said that was just one of the more flagrant things I had seen. As soon as it all went down, she put the video back up. She didn't put the video up to hurt Margie. She put the video up to spite me. Thank you, Green IPI. Thank you so much. Thank you. She put it up to spite me. And when I saw the video up, somebody told me she put that video back up. I was like, what video? I was already past it. She said, Margie's video. I was like, oh no, why would she do that? Well, that's what she does, right? So between the feeling and emoting for me, the calling me a liar and then getting the God smacks, it was a hard situation to be in with Tiffany. But I just, you know what I mean? Like I had already committed to having her around, right? So much so that if I was one of those that worried about subscribers and all that jazz, which I'm not, my channel was suffering. People by the dozens were telling me, I'll come back when she leaves. And here they come, right? So in all of that, there's some people that were over here that are now over there. And that's neither here nor there. But I don't understand. Tiffany wants all my day one moderators over there. I'm not really sure why. Other than I guess she thinks she's going to show them something about Fizzle. I'm out here to tell you, Slithers, she's not perfect. But you are far from perfect. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed that I let that friendship last that long with the things that you were saying to me. You just have no emotional intelligence whatsoever. Period. I heard her cry once in the end conversations. At that point, it did not seem legitimate at all. And when she was doing this 7-syllable stuff, I asked her questions to see if she was competent. Like, does she know right from wrong? Does she, what are the parameters here? She was just fine. I don't know where Benny, this trash bag is black, Benny. Chief, did you say the trash bag's black? No, Benny, I didn't say the trash bag was black, Benny. I don't know what that is. I don't know what to call it. I don't know why it happened. And I'm an answers guy. I like explanation. I like answers. And I'm one of the proverbial, like, if I can't remember a movie star's name, oh boy, you about do 16 backflips trying to remember, right? So I don't know what that is. I've never seen it before, and I know I'll never see it again unless it's with someone that is challenged or handicapped, right? I've explained it the same way to every person close to me that I've talked to, and every person constitutes two. So she says Penny brought all the bad people into this case. How? How could she bring them here? How could she bring them in? She didn't bring Carl here. She didn't bring Brad here. These people are already there or here or there or wherever. It's just that Penny made contact with them, right? Now, do I understand that a lot of the past is very hard to understand in terms of Fizzle did this or Fizzle did that? I don't know what all Fizzle did. I have no idea. But what I'll tell you is that it doesn't matter. Because when she came to me, she didn't have she didn't have the terrorists on her tail, right? She did not have the terrorists on her tail. And I'm a forgiving guy. We all are, right? So she came in and I accepted Tiffany easier. Thank you for your contribution, Brandy. Thanks so much, love. I appreciate you, sister. Accepted Tiffany more readily than even Fizzle when she came in. And the reason for that, I think, is that I don't know. I think that Fizzle, anytime Fizzle asks me to do something, then, I'm going to look at it with a different set of eyes. And she brought Jenny, she brought Adrian, and those ended up being relationships that, were fun and helpful for a while. So Penny's done a lot of good stuff. I couldn't tell you what all people try to say she's done. I don't know. But she's not done anything to me.
My mom thinks she's marvelous.
And Mama Keys thinks she's marvelous, right? We can get loud with each other. We can, we do all the things. We do all the things. And it's not a relationship that, that I'm willing to ditch. I mean, if you look at the things that both of us have went through on the account of the other, right? The other is to blame for certain treatments that both her and I have got. And it's powerful. It's a powerful friendship, right? It's one that no matter what happens, I assure you, we'll remain friends. We will. And I appreciate that friendship. It's a friendship where even if Fizzle thinks that I'm spending a lot of time talking to Tiffany for whatever particular reason, she doesn't want to get in the way of that. So she actually stepped to the side. Because, Fizzle is a girlfriend to guys, right? She has a lot of guy friends in real life. So she knows the dynamic of when her guy friends.
But they're just friends.
Right, exactly. When their guy friends are now spending time with someone or something different, she sees it.
Because she takes the time to
that's it.
Her own relationship.
She's emotionally intelligent. Now, you can be emotionally intelligent and still, in someone else's eyes, make the wrong decision, right? Or something they might not have done, right? She is smart, Doohickey. You're absolutely right. So there was, I believe, more than just the bone of contention somewhere in it all for Tiffany in regards to Fizzle, because the lady come unwound. You're gonna praise I was like, whoa. Like, Penny's one of my best friends. What are you talking about? Am I gonna praise Penny? Champagne kisses. Thank you so much for your contribution, Queen. You know it means the world to me, big. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is my best friend. What are you talking about? It would be like you not praising Bridget or Lippy, right? Like, I don't have any issues with Lippy. I used to not care that she made all the videos and stuff about me sometimes, but I'm a grown man, right? It's all fair in love and war. So that being said, I don't know what the bottom line is here. I don't know what the bottom line is. I emailed her last night and I was like, hey, I don't have any intentions of fucking you up, Tiffany. I'm not going to pull a Tiffany Marie on you, Tiffany Marie. I was just like, like, it's got to stop. Like, are you so fucking immature that now this is the thing I want to make very clear to everyone. She's in there thinking she's tearing Fizzle up. Meanwhile, she's acting as if everything is completely okay between me and her. And it was not. I was just staying my mouth shut. So that's where the whole song, Look What You Made Me Do, came from with John Crimes. If you and your ladies, which I used to, I mean, I don't fall out of love. I don't fall out of friendship with people because the YouTube says so. So probably not. Bridget is going to not probably want to be my friend. Lippy's probably not going to want to be my friend. Luda, probably not. But if you look at my community tab, like these people that she adores, Tiffany says she adores, she also said a lot of things about. And that's one of those things that I identified too. It's like, whoa, wait. Have I ever been frustrated with Fizzle? Absolutely. Has she ever been frustrated with me? Absolutely. We have those days where it's like we're speaking craftsman wrenches or something. It's like it's intelligible. So you have to remember that when I first started dealing with Tiffany, it was right off the cusp of the thing with AB, right? Now, I was supportive for her through that, but not in a way that was outwardly like stupid to do all that on YouTube, create problems for yourself. I was supportive of her privately, and anytime he was going to go live or he did this, that, or the third, she came running, and I wanted to be that sort of epicenter or the cornerstone of healing and growth for her, and as the days and the weeks and the months rolled by, it became clear, in my opinion, that AB had grace on her. Because he said, he somewhere said he was gonna. No, it wasn't him. Someone in the chat said they had nudes. Well, I won't show your nudes either, Tiffany. Well, I mean, you could show mine. I don't care. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that whatever she was doing with the 7 syllables and all that stuff that day, whatever she was doing, she's good at it. Because I am an answers guy. I said that before. I'm an answers person. I want answers. I could not figure out what all that was about. There's no way for me to understand why she would say one thing. I would rebut to it, and then she would say no. I do not know why. For the life of me, maybe it's just a calling card. Maybe she wants me to remember her forever. I will remember that. It was just the weirdest thing. It was reminding me of a boxer I saw one time that had been knocked out. But he jumped up real quick. And when he got up, he did this little bounce and kicked his legs out and acted like he was going to lay down in the air and slammed onto the ring. And he never got back up, not during the fight. So it was like, I'm boxing, I'm knocked out. I'm getting up, I'm not, I'm laying down. It was like that. It was just like, see here, I struggle for it. I really struggle for it. It was a situation where when my son was around, she talked to him. When her son was around, I talked to him. I used to tell him stuff like, hey, she calls him Hun. I would say, hey, Hun, I'm going to marry your mom and make you go to bed early. Of course, it's just a joke. Of course. Stuff like that, it was jovial. It was, it was, she was supportive of bad days I had that had to do with the impending divorce, or Sunday nights, or Mondays and Tuesdays when little Luca has gone home, and I've got that sort of washed out feeling, like she just supportive all the way around in those things. It just took a turn somewhere, and I think yesterday I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I'm not heartbroken. Don't say that. Confused. Just sort of let it go. It's like, it is what it is. Just a scenario that was so bewildering. I don't know. It's a phenomenon. It's actually a phenomenon. So when she started to publicly do things to fizzle, I got very angry. I got extremely angry, and but not angry enough to share your nude pictures, Tiffany. I would never do that to you. I'm not that guy. In fact, there was an issue with the pictures before. I don't remember exactly what it was. I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm not going to come here and lie about nothing, not a thing. There was an issue with the pictures, so I deleted all of them off my phone. And when it worked itself out, she asked about the pictures. And I said, no, I deleted them. I'm that kind of guy, right? Like, I don't want her to be worried about nothing, even though she's a bitch and she's immature, and the way that she acts is worthless. I'm not saying you are worthless. I'm saying you act like you're worthless. You act like no one could see a worth in you. Well, worth more than that check anyways. So we discussed the check at length once or twice. And I told her straight up, I'm the wrong guy to talk to about the check, because I don't necessarily agree and believe in the dynamics of the reward all the time, always. And when I first said that a couple of years ago, there's a lot of opponents to that. And now even some of the ones that were outspoken then understand now. You could just say you have an issue with it. If you don't have to say you don't like rewards, but you've got to identify that it doesn't even matter. In most of these cases with these children, it doesn't matter if there's a reward. There's over 200,000 for Classic and Sincere out of Cal City, California, the West Boys. Like, big money in these cases. So throughout the course of it all, I did spend time with, the other gals from Tiffany's side, and sort of neglected my own situation. But that's because we have a strong family over here, right? We have a strong family, and we don't need to, we don't have to measure it every day and see how big it's getting and how fast it can run. We know what we know what it can do over here. We know exactly what we're doing. I want the best for everyone here, and that's the God honest truth. Tiffany's in that too. I want the best for everyone. I want everyone to be successful in what they set out to do here. Okay? Unless you're Bombshell Reloaded or somebody like that, then I don't give a shit about you one way or another. I want everyone to be successful. I want everyone to try to not do the drama. But if you are, pray your way through it. Pray your way, be graceful. Pray your way, be graceful, in that you don't get slapped up by life with a receipt of all the people who sent money into this bank. I mean, when I start to try to put it in perspective, I don't even know how Tiffany can talk about the marathon, because at that time, that check that she supposedly sent, that bought her ticket into Wonka World. Yeah, she can't say nothing about what people are doing with their money until she's contributed herself, right? So that court awareness is just not there. And that's one thing that I pride myself on, having played a number of sports in high school. And you got to keep your eye on the ball. And if you don't have your eye on the ball, in your mind's eye, you have to know where the ball is behind you, right? And I pride myself on trying to know where all the things are. But like this scenario with emergency me, I failed. That's the verbiage I used. I failed. And Tiffany said, no, you didn't fail. You just didn't know. You're not a survivor. And I was like, actually, I am. Right? Actually, I am too. And that when I hear people say things like, oh, survivors don't do this or survivors don't do that. Well, I don't remember mine. So they most certainly do live with their offenders, not report them. I mean, I found out when I was 16, and I never thought to call the police until just the other day. That was never a thought. I was going to send him back to Christ, but the cancer got him. And I preferred watching him go through that than what I had planned for him. I've been told over and over and over that as a man, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's the same people who are telling you what you can't do because they're a survivor. They don't even know I am. Right? They don't even know I am. And I'm that guy. I'm the guy that's I'll tell you, but I won't tell you in that moment because that's your moment of survivorship. That's your moment of survivorhood. Some other time I can tell you, but I'm not going to trump you up and say, no, see, now you've just made me, I'm not going to play the game with these ladies or men, right? I mean, and furthermore, it's not even worth my time trying to discuss it with certain people that are closed off to any other possible scenario other than theirs, right? I've heard people say, survivors don't go on the internet and talk. And then I've heard people say, survivors need to go on the internet and talk. So it's both ways, right? It's which foot does it go on? I thought about doing the same thing Tiffany's doing. I thought about it. And then I told myself, well, that's going to be hard to do because once you go live, all those people that you would do that to, like she's doing to Fizzle, they're already here. All those people that were Tiffany's best friends online, they already left. So what do you do to somebody that's already lost that? It's the same thing you tell someone that already knows everything. Nothing. That's the answer. Nothing. Plus, I wanted to be able to walk away from the experience and still be able to shine. Right? Still be able to shine. Because it's an ugly environment, right? It's an ugly environment. We deal with a lot of high impact, stressful stuff, whether or not it's by choice or what happens when you flick the live button on. No matter which way it is, it's stressful. It's stressful as you guys down there. It's stressful up here. It's stressful. And I've been weighing how worth it is it. And I didn't feel like I could do a cold turkey scenario probably very well, you know. So I'm just putting my music on there, right? Staying busy with music, staying real busy. And I found that quite naturally, the people that care about me here care about anything I do. If I was here modeling exact models of dog poop, they're gonna love me, and I'm gonna love them. And so it doesn't matter what or who or how long. Those things don't matter, right? They just never have. Other places, they do matter. They absolutely do matter at other places. This place isn't that place. I mean, I haven't seen a black woman here. I don't know where KKLX is. I haven't seen an African American woman here in quite some time. And all of you are very supportive of my music. Very supportive. Even understanding that with the way that I monetize my music, I still want to share it here. But I'm not going to put the perfectly mixed and mastered version of it here. No, absolutely not. Not in a place, not until it's published like that, right? So, I just want Tiffany to get some help. Tiffany, whatever it is or isn't, I tried to surmise while on the phone with her, and it's the typical things, but she didn't. I was telling her there was a problem she didn't know about. Thank you, Jolly Life. Thank you so much. She didn't even know that she had a problem, and that was pretty deep. I'll tell you the very thing that was. Thank you so much, Lily Rochelle, for your contribution, Queen, this morning. You know it means the world to me. Thank you so much. She texted me during all of this, towards the way far end, and she made a comment. She said, "Benny, you're ruining us." And it was the most contrived things. I was the craziest thing, the most pseudo thing she could have said. Benny, you're ruining us. I did tell Tiffany in the email last night. I told her, I said, Tiffany, I am not too grown or to anything to not understand that maybe something. Lana, thank you so much for your contribution this morning, Queen. Thank you, beautiful. Maybe there wasn't some sort of misunderstanding between us about certain aspects of what went on that night or those couple of nights. But what you did, and then not telling people there was a problem between us, everyone's first inkling was when I dropped out the album art for Look What You Made Me Do. Look What You Made Me Do is a track produced by me, and it features John Rhimes, Big John Crimes. So after I did that, I had to conceptualize what I had just done, right? Because it was going to seem as if all of that was planned out. And it was not all planned out. It wasn't. It was the natural, it's the way people move in and out of doors, right? Sometimes it's seamless and flawless. Sometimes it's not so seamless and flawless. And I didn't even know Big John was back around. In fact, last week sometime Tiffany had said that John was on live. So I was like, oh, I went over there and clicked on it. And now she asked me, am I subscribed to him? And I told her no. Yes, I am. I'm subscribed. I did not search out John to do music together because of Tiffany. I had sought out John way before last year. I was picking and trying to, let's do some tracks, man. Let's do some tracks. Yeah. But, he had a lot of stuff going on. And so I had propositioned him about it as many times as I could before I felt like I was bothering him, right? And then this scenario came. And let me tell you what. John has not said one thing about Tiffany, negative, positive, or even said her name, period. He has not. He is not reveling in something from the past. John is on some different stuff now. Motivating each other to, keep the music going. And we plan to maybe shoot some music videos together here soon. So it doesn't have anything, there is no bond. Now, what I told Tiffany was that I don't know what John Crimes has done to her. I know what she alleges he's done. Well, guess what, people? If you think like a juror in life, you think like a juror all through life. I couldn't say that I saw him do anything ever other than cover stuff after. I think I heard him call her a skank before. That's his terminology. He says that the YouTube doesn't pick up the word skank. It doesn't. It's never stopped him from saying it. River in the 910. What's up, baby? Thank you for your contribution, Queen. We've got people like Nicolina here, for fuck's sake. Like, Nicolina is just like a festering hair bump that won't go away. On the rear end of YouTube, and you got people like that, right? That just are oppositional stance people. You've got what's that racist dude's name? White Boy Lockdown, that dude. He doesn't care about any of this. He doesn't care about any of it. Basically, what his hunt is to get 1,000 views every video, because every time he doesn't, I'm over there. I'm like, bro, when are you gonna hit 1,000? Like, just stuff like this, having a good time. But with these people, when you do that, oh man, they're gonna grease their chest up, bring your daughter on, all kinds of shit, right? So the place is still the place. It will never change. It doesn't matter what we try to do, what we try to say. First of the year, you can't put your Cash App information, but everyone does. Nothing changes. If you only knew what she did to a dying woman. Oh, shit. I'm scared to know. Yeah, but there again, it's not to say as if I've never done something to a dead person. Yeah. Like, I was coming to watch that man who did something to me get put in the ground. For whatever reason, he had died at like 4 in the afternoon. And they left him on the bed until, almost 8 when I got there. I walked in, took a look at him, and flipped him off and walked out. Yeah. Big old bird. I don't even remember if I did 2. I may have did 2, but then I smoked a big fucking blunt. Pardon my French. Smoked a big blunt in the parking ramp of the hospital. It's legal there. And really just reveled in how the payoff wasn't there. Thought the payoff was going to be there, right? It's like, okay, he's dead. Flip him off. And there's no, haha, look at you. Or no, there's no sadness. I push forward. That's what I intend to do with this. Tiffany realized the power of the YouTube. It's not the power of Tiffany. That's where she gets confused. It's the power of YouTube. It's the power YouTube allots you to maneuver and navigate the platform, and interact with, whoever you want. Somebody told me, they're like, Benny, please don't go up there and make a victim out of her. And that was never my plan. My plan was to never victimize her. I may have said in the continuum and out here, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this, that, and the third. Well, here I am. And I'm not. Right? I don't know why she treats my friends the way she does. But this is the thing about that. She can only treat my friends here the way she does after she does it to her friends first. And then she leaves an empty hole, right? She leaves an empty hole for someone else to come in, right? And it's loosely the way human dynamics work, but on a much abbreviated, much, greater abbreviated scale here. So I do wish Tiffany success. I wish, this is the thing, you got to wish for other people what you want for yourself. Have to. You have to pray for you the things you want for other people. You got to. Right? I don't know. I don't know where that pedestal comes from. Because my pedestal is, it's stationary, right? My pedestal is used not as a pedestal, but as something to stand on so that I can help somebody. I can't help every single person. Sometimes in my attempts to help anyone, I help no one, right? It's just the way of the world. But I don't lose sight of the fact that the people here have feelings. Somebody ran off on Fizzle yesterday. Somebody that she's been researching and thinks the world of since the beginning ran off over there. It's just the way it works. I've had someone not too long ago, and I don't even know why, they left for less than one day and turned around and came back with a different name. I don't know. I hope whatever it was, you got it worked out. So I don't know where we go from here. I can tell you this, that in my absence, I haven't been just doing music. Nope. And I'm sure that'll probably come out by Tiffany. So I'll let her tell it. And if she doesn't, then she doesn't. Fizzle knows. Fizzle's not going to tell. Because it's pertinent to Summer's case, right? It's something you would never believe was happening. It's happening on a very real level. And it's because adults want the best for not just Summer Wells. Everyone. Want the best for everyone. So if we wished a little of the best for Don and Candace, they probably wouldn't show us so much of the other, right? I had cracked a little joke on Don the other day. He calls me a wigger all the time, So I sent him the "Look What You Made Me Do," and I said, "No. From here on out, you call me the wigger, okay?" It's strange, you know what I mean? It's very strange. I do it too, though, right? Like people picking on whatever your public persona looks like to the public, right? Like, you could be struggling with a bald head and a broke face and put a bandana on every day, and then squeeze into little tiny clothes and shit online. I don't understand it, but the dude's got away with it, right? Or drawing penises on 100 pictures of me. That's cute. It's kind of like a zipper. He's everywhere the dick is. He's everywhere the dick be. Food for it. that's just where I'm at, right? I'm there. Now, the last straw for me, Fizzle would tell you, a lot of people here would tell you, I don't go backwards. In life, to go backwards is to hopefully go back and fix something, right? And if you've not infracted, you have no reason to go back and try to fix anything. Other than going back to fix something, should be no reason to go back here on YouTube. You don't have any business, for the most part, going back to old things and let them bang you up again, right? But when she put the video back up of Margie, that really just hit me right. It hit me right there. Boom. It slammed the air out of me. I was like, wow. So Tiffany's putting the video up of Margie talking about her rapes, not to help her, but to piss me off. And probably, I hope you guys don't hate me, some of you. In my opinion, that's more hideous than what she did with the check. You just, she can't get out her own way. But I'm not going to say that I can't get out my own way sometimes, because there's times that I can't. You know, it kind of seems like maybe right now is one of those. It's way more hideous, yeah. To put that woman's story back up when she could potentially be harmed by the people that still be, is such a dangerous thing, seeing how Tiffany just told me she saw her assailant on the road walking. Said she sees him all the time. I said, did he see you? She said, yeah. So you see yours all the time, and by putting that video up, I guess you want to make sure that she sees hers. I understand. When I say understand in that situation, what I mean is I don't understand, but I'm going to say I understand, because that would be the conclusion of that statement, right? I don't know. It's real hurtful to, but I have to remember she was also helpful to me on, on shitty days. She was, but this place is, a lot of people say this place is falling apart. It's not falling apart. It's falling down. And what we're doing is like workers at 9/11. We're scurrying through the rubble looking for something, I would urge any of us to maybe just practice a little grace. It's hard. That's hard. I got a frog in my throat. It's hard because that means that you're going to let somebody make it for something that you typically wouldn't, right? And there just isn't enough time in life. There's not enough time in life to be sitting over in Discord wanting friends of mine, which she says she wants the day one moderator OGs. Like I told her, I said, you've meshed this too long and too hard. She can't tell. That brings me to another point. So there was at the time, I don't know when it was exactly. I get up and I call her, and she says, Benny, There's another one. I was like, another one what? She claimed the child had went missing down the street from Don and Candace's house. And that Ronnie Lawson was now supervising yet another case. And I was like, well, shoot, let me make some coffee and let's watch it. Because that was kind of our, in the morning time, we might catch up with looking at, stuff in true crime. So I'm starting to make the coffee and she's looking for the video. And she can't find the video. And knowing that they don't, I just threw out there because I understood immediately what happened. She daydreamed of a whole nother missing child. And she relayed it to me, thankfully, only me like that, because I was ready. She made it up. Yeah. I mean, that's her mind made it up sleeping. We can say that. Okay. It's just sad that I wasted time doing anything with that lady, because as soon as it got very, very distressing for me, I was upset. I was disappointed. But then I was just like hurt because I don't have extra time. Hey, Lena. I don't know if she is or she isn't. I don't think so. No. So what I did was I interjected in. I was like, you know what? They probably had something in the video that wasn't supposed to be in there, and they asked them to take it down, knowing that that's not the case. Like once it hits, like it hits, right? News stations been doing it a long time. They understand the gravity of what they're handling. They know what they can and can't do. I just was a lot taken back when that happened. It was a lot. And I just was like, maybe you need to get some rest, or you okay? And then unfortunately, I think that I told her a lie. I think that I told her that I had done something similar to, not that, but just similar, like woke up and thought that something was so very real. And in fact, it wasn't. That was really where I got the segue in, the insight. It's like, okay, I'm not going to say that none of my eggs are scrambled. That's not what I'm saying. You have to remember, Tiffany had what she coins a pretty serious car accident. So I just didn't understand that either, so the thing that sort of jumped this off today was the fact that she was still over there, I guess, last night. I haven't went and looked at anything. I went and tried to talk to Emergency Me, but then Emergency Me fizzles some message that's crazy long, and I'm not interested in looking at Emergency Me, talking crazy to my friend, because it's like what I saw Emergency Me doing was like what she should have done to Prairie Garden, right? But no, she did it to Fizzle, who was only relaying the message as I had asked her to, right? So I've come to realize this, I have a channel that was stuck at 9630. I mean, literally stuck. Wasn't going down, wasn't going up. They're coming. People are coming back. People are coming back, and they're coming back because she's not here. And they told me they would come back too. And here we are. For a moment, I got all hype. I was like, Fizzle, man, I got 10 new subscribers, bro. It must be the music. She was like, Benny, no. I mean, it could be, but what it is it is the people who told you they were going to come back when Tiffany left. And they didn't waste no time. So I feel like there's better than this out here. Is Jody here? Jody Sue Brown, you here, baby? She might be. Do not block Jody. She's free to come in. She's done nothing wrong. In fact, I've come to realize that a lot of the things that I chose to cover in terms of Jody were things that maybe I manipulated myself. Maybe someone else manipulated me. Maybe. But with the epiphany, came some like clear space to do some real short-term thinking, because it's just going to fill right back up. But I don't know, guys. I think that if there were a better way, we would have found it by now. I truly do. I think that if there was a cleaner, better way to do this, someone would have established it, and it'd be clicking like a timepiece. But it just isn't. It's sometimes one step forward, then 37,000 steps back. So I had subsequently, after she put the video back out, I talked to Josh for a couple hours one night, and he gave me a bunch of information about Margie that was available to him now, and it's heartbreaking, because she did what she did by putting the video back up, which is down now. But she's hit her channel, but there is some stuff that happened, and I don't want to get into that here, because this is just not that. But it was like how John came in to me, into my scenario after that all happened. It was the same way Josh came to me after she put the video up, and it was with the information in regards to when she was younger. And you get the clear picture, right? When I hear the info, I'm like, okay, so she comes here and says, the dad didn't do anything to her. Sometimes when you say things, it doesn't make them entirely true, right? I think that it's okay to apologize to people that you've done things to, and that's kind of the rule. But it's probably also okay to, some of the YouTubers, they go back. I've went back before. I'm just not going to go back to certain stuff. I refuse to. I'm not going to go back to bashing Jody Sue every day. I'm not going to say that was a waste of my time, because I learned a lot about other details, not of Jody necessarily, but of the case, the hill, the logistics, acoustics, all kinds of stuff. But it didn't have to come. It didn't have to come at a price for her, right? And it always did. It always has. People like to see that because I make offending her look funny sometimes, and it's really not. It's really not. Jody's made some good jokes about me. I've made some good jokes about her. But, you know, ultimately, like, you know, she's a human being, right? Don, Candace, they're human beings. Don, Candace are ever arrested, they're not going to be put in a zoo. They're going to be put in a regular jail, right? So, I think that Tiffany could be who she projects herself to be every day, if she tried to be that. Not to the people close to her, but to just random people in the YouTube continuum. Just reach out to somebody, find somebody, be nice to somebody. It's the power of it, right? It's the power of apology. I was talking to Josh the other night about the power of apology. Sometimes you can apologize for nothing, and as long as it's at the right time in the right place, to draw two people together closer, right? Even if there really wasn't an infraction that needed to be apologized for. There you go. Sorry. Oh, I gotta get next to the router. Damn. There. I've watched now quite a number of situations that Tiffany's been involved in. She's always outputting. She's always outputting some sort of, like, in these times, venom, right? And meanwhile, saying that it's the other person, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what she does differently than anyone else, but I mean, maybe she just does this to create these problems here so that you can come on and have 800 people watching you first thing in the morning. I don't know. I do not know. It's I mean, you got to ask yourself, what can you buy with a check you didn't send? You know, what can you buy with something you didn't send in, right? And I didn't beat her up about the check at all. I only said something about the check one time, and it was, I was hanging up on her, and she was being insulting, and I was like, "Listen, you have lied." She's calling me a liar. You're a liar. Okay, Tiffany, sure thing. I'm not gonna. She thought she could call me a liar, and then we were gonna get engaged in another 5-hour conversation, and she'd keep me tied up. I said, "Okay, fine, I'm a liar." But when times get cold, I bet you could rip that check into some little pieces and use it as a fire starter or something, maybe. I said, you know, fuck your check. You know, fuck your check. So I don't know. I was rooting for the underdog. I had this grandiose idea. It was almost like her little kidnapping dream she had, that maybe people would run away from me because I was trying to see the good in something. It ran away from me. And I just like to tell everybody to slow down just a little bit. Just, you know, we're not getting paid to run the 4.340 here. But I wanted to, I think that my daydream was to bring her in and then, you know, kind of have her display herself as someone that had worked on themselves, someone who had done some soul searching, someone who had understandably done some work to arrive at somewhere else than where they are now. Because if I had to guess, I would say that some of this stuff she does because she's unhappy. Now, I'm not here to say she's unhappy in her real life. I'm not saying that. She's unhappy here. And I guess I kind of equate it to being, you know, the bad guy. You don't have to be the bad guy or the bad gal. You can start right off as Wonder Woman. You don't never have to make the rounds and do all of that. You can start right off on the right side of things. And I'm not going to think for you. I was getting ready to say, but I don't think that's the thing. Like it is what it is. I wished it were different, but selfishly, I like it the way it is, right? I like being able to, I'm not ready to be questioned by a platonic woman a little deeper than just, you know, generically. I'm just not ready for a lot of things, you know. Maybe I never will be. Maybe I never will be. But, oh yeah, chicken. So let me get to that point. That brings us to the living scenario, my living scenario. I'm not sure entirely what is going on here, but Sunday we had just, I knew there was stuff going on around here. I could feel it. I've been hearing screams, but then I was telling myself, no, there's a chicken. There's this stuff going on around here. And we had 3 incidences here on Sunday. And then a 4th that came after dark. The one after dark was about 100 feet from here. Well, no, 200 feet from here. They sent everyone postcards here, and they just released a high-risk sexual predator, a violent sexual predator of children. That was sort of the topper of the night. It was it did what I think it wasn't supposed to do. It caused panic. I was like, whoa, 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 what do you mean? Like, we ride our 4-wheeler over there. He calls that Jurassic Park. And now there's a real monster there. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, a portion of me wants to hunt. A portion of me, the biggest portion of me, knows that after a conversation with my dad, well, we had another gentleman. So about 4 days ago, one of the neighbors had a chicken killed. They're communal chickens. They just happened to buy the chicken feed. So there was a couple of chickens killed, and I think some eggs damaged or something. And it was in the middle of the night. My mom was having trouble sleeping. She had opened the door and the dogs rushed out. And Sissy headed down there. And the man thought that Sissy had killed the chickens. We didn't even know there was any chickens killed because she came back. There was no feathers. There was no blood. However, the next morning there was like one of the rooster ring necks on the steps out there, and I didn't even think it was our cat. So, but we did not discount the neighbor's account. We're like, well, they have done other things in their lives that are weird that they never did again. So we're really sorry about that. And the next day, I was on the phone with Fizzle. Actually, she could attest to this. I was on the phone with Fizzle, and a man walked up, and the porch light was in my eye. We got a new porch light, super bright. I couldn't see out. I thought it was another guy from around the way, which he's real cool. So I was like, "Who is it?" And he was like, "Your neighbor." And when he said your neighbor, I knew that it wasn't the dude from over there. So I sort of blocked my eyes, and this dude's like waving me down. And I got a rule against that too. Like, don't holler at me across the Walmart parking lot and tell me to come over to you. Because that's the easiest way to run me hot. Like, you don't wave me over there and tell me, you don't tell me to come over here and do nothing. And that's what I said to him. He was doing this wave thing, and I was like, nah, partner, nah, we don't. Nah, that's that old penitentiary wave. Get you fucked up. Somebody see you answering to that shit, right? All you got to do is answer one time. And then they think they got you on a string, right? So I walk up to him, and as I'm walking up to him, I see that he's got a fifth of Tito's vodka in his hand. And I reach out my hand and say, "My name is Benjamin." And he reaches out his hand, and he grabs a hold of my hand, and he jerks me into him really quick. And I immediately went penitentiary. And the dude just stood there as I proceeded to tell him over and over and over that he needed to get the fuck off my property right now before I fuck him up. Took 4 times. So there was that. There are a few workers working across the street on another house, allegedly. Well, no, not allegedly. I caught one of them getting into a car with a lady that lives behind, who has a guy. And the guy comes over here, and he is fucking irate. And I think that maybe part of what his mission was to see if I might be one of the candidates for his girlfriend, right? So he comes over, and he starts, asking me, and he's just got out of prison, 6-8 months ago, and trying to find his way. And I've helped him out a little bit. So he said, "Have you seen my girl get into the car with one of them?" And his girl, I had at that point never seen her. So I was like, "What does she look like?" He said, "She has purple hair." And I said, "Ooh." I had seen the purple-haired lady pick up one of the Mexican workers on New Year's Eve at lunchtime. She lives just right behind the house. So I told him, and it created a whirlwind. Now, unbeknownst to me, someone on the other street over there had actually videoed the two of them in the vehicle together. I saw the lady twice. I was riding the 4-wheeler with my son when they got in, and we just happened to catch her dropping him off and then leaving, and we passed her again. So she saw us. She had even admitted that she saw us, but not in the context of dropping this guy off. So there's been that situation. It's just been a lot. And my go-to usually in the past Don't really have a switch, but I just could go violent. You know, I go violent, but would go to that realm really quickly if there's any danger, right? I'm not gonna pussyfoot around and ask you for 32 minutes to get off my property. That's not what we're gonna do. No, we're gonna handle it like the pit bull situation every time, and that creates a scenario. It creates an environment for me where it's just not the best. And now with the addition, it's a lot. So the neighbor, the owner of the house, he came over to talk about the scenario because I was out yelling at him and the worker because I'm tired of that guy coming over here complaining to me about what they're doing. And so the guy came over, and when he came over, there was a comment made or something, and he pulls up his shirt. He shows us his gun. And I said, I was thinking to myself, like, what is the point of that? What's wrong? Huh? I was like, what is the point of doing that? Why did you come over here and show your concealed weapon? She just said, come on. Like, she doesn't, it's a very tight situation because I'm right. And in me being right, it means that the neighborhood that surrounds her dream home is a fucking slum, is what it means. You know, I told my dad about what had happened with the man in the front. Fizzle was still on the phone. And he said, no, he didn't. And I said, what do you mean? No, he didn't. Yes, he did. I had Fizzle on the phone. And he just proceeded to say that, you know, you're safe in the house. Oh, that's beautiful for me because I can YouTube and do my stuff in the house. But when I have my son here, it just sort of turned a little bit too unsafe. And there's a high risk. There's a high risk violent sex offender. So it doesn't stop changing all the time. It doesn't stop changing. It's not only the neighborhood. And then subsequently, when the neighbor was over here, my mom asked him about the neighborhood. Oh, he said, "Oh yeah, it's a bad neighborhood, but it's on the mend." So it's a difficult reality, and it's been pretty. Other than Nicolina calling the cops the one time, it's been very quiet here, for the most part. But then Sunday, the floodgates just opened up, and it turned into what it was. It was just like it was a free for all here, and they were just ding, 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 ding. So it's always going on, right? Even when you think you're getting out of one scenario, you could be going into another scenario, or you could already be in two scenarios and then be heading into a third. You just never know what somebody else got on their plate, right? Yeah. You never know what someone has on their plate. And I don't know what any of these guys around here got going on in their mind, but it's not what their first mind should be on, right? So yeah, I mean, with him grabbing my arm up like that, it was a done deal. There was a camera on it too, so we've got, you know, my dad has a strange belief here. Now over there, you know, it was a little more closer to Dallas, right next to Dallas, but he doesn't want to call any police here. He doesn't want to have any lingering grudges with anyone. I can say I understand it, but you know, doesn't need to go. See, he's non-confrontational with his hands, right? But if someone comes in the yard or in the house, he says, we're gonna handle business. It doesn't have to get to that point. It doesn't have to go there, right? You can handle it in the yard, or down the sidewalk, whatever. So all of these things going on at the same time with the Tiffany stuff. And it is a little bit, it's an overload because although Fizzle is good for defending herself, we know how it feels to have someone defend you as well, right? And that's not to say that Fizzle can't bring on her own troubles, right? But the issue at hand between Fizzle and Penny, let's get it very clear, or Fizzle and Penny, Fizzle and Tiffany, is that Tiffany thought that because Fizzle's my best friend, she should be able to ask Fizzle for anything on God's green earth. And when Fizzle asked for the same thing, Tiffany said the same thing. No, they both said no. Well, I mean, Fizzle was like, I can't. The phone, it's malfunctioned. So I don't even know what we're actually looking at. Like, the lady's been going on and 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 on, and she's thinks that by having, for instance, well, I'm not going to say your name. There's a few people in here that, go other places, and she's specifically calling for some of them people. Like, I don't care about none of that. I don't care if anyone goes over there and takes a look at it. I don't care if she beckons you and you go. I don't care if she beckons you and you don't go. But I'll be damned, Slithers, if I'm going to let you fucking victimize me. You are not going to go any further with me. You can try. I mean, if you're feeling gamey, go ahead. But you're not going to like none of it. So what you need to do is you need to fucking pack up and stay home. You need to fucking leave me alone. Leave everybody else alone, right? Because in the meanwhile, she's running around telling everybody Bridget's business, telling everyone other people's business. And how do I know? Because I heard it. And then when I said it, here, let me show you. So, this is Glitter. Glitter, she responded. She responded to a post I put up with this. She said, I tried to tell you, Bridget, I gave you a specific situation only you and one other person besides Tiffany would know about. You got mad at me for it. You're brainwashed. But maybe now that you hear Benny telling you the exact same thing I told you, you'll believe it. Yes. I don't know. I don't know the adjectives of Bridget's life. I don't know. I don't know what color house is, what color cars. I don't know none of that. But I know that, I know the stuff. So there's just no end to it. It never stops. It keeps going and going and going and going. And it's as if each Godsmack forces her into the next maneuver, right? It's okay at any time to just say, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up on that one, right? I can't dictate to you where you go or what you do, but like you seem to be like this ravenous house cat that is just tearing up the small animal population around you. You're definitely tearing people up. It doesn't have to be that way. I mean, I could have came here and torn you up just as easy. That's not what I'm about. I don't want to do that anymore. Do not want to do that. But I can tell you what, Glitter. I didn't even get it from any of the two people you're saying. So it's a lot of people know. A lot of people know. I had another one I put right. It's sad. On another channel. I think it is on the other channel. Anyways, it was somebody coming in saying that they were her best friend. And they no longer are. And that's pretty much the takeaway, is that it's her, one of her best friends on here. Also, I mean, look at the status of it today. The status of it today is that all the people that Tiffany tried to make everyone feel like were terrible people that would never support you in your time of need, they're here. They're here. They're just not here for her. That doesn't mean that one day they might not be, but right now they're not. And she's punishing anyone who hasn't made the decision to have Salty or Nicole or whomever around. Right? You don't have to make these. You don't have to say, I want to let Salty and Nicole come over. If they want to come, they're going to come. I'm not going to stop them. Just like Jody. I'm not going to stop Jody from being here. Right? So I don't know. It's like a pretty serious case of buyer's remorse. Like just do something and it seems to be kind of going, basically smooth for a while. And then it just fell apart. And the lingering question remains. I don't know why. I do not know why it happened. I just know some of the things that, led up to it, but I don't know what made that day like that. And I hopefully will never know, because I'm probably the answer to that would be not satisfying, right? So, super interesting, because it's like hard to imagine. A lot of you probably are having a hard time trying to imagine how she might be any different, or how could she be any different in real life than she is here. She isn't. She's not. She played a good, I don't know how long it was, 2-3 months. She played along nicely for that amount of time. And then for whatever reason, it just sort of fell apart with this sort of, unknown situation where she's acting weird. This manipulating conversation at the end, right? Like, she wants me to tell her how many times, or tell me all the times that she insulted me. And I was like, I was doing that while you were insulting me. I'm not going to do that, right? So, guys, take care of yourselves, right? Like, don't many of us are seasoned here. So the mistakes that new people could make here aren't the same mistakes that we'll make, right? Protect yourself, protect your information, protect your pictures if you're in these discords. And I don't know, you've got a birthday party with the grandkids, don't show it, right? It's nobody's business in that way. You can tell them, but you don't need to be, put your little ones on and stuff, So yeah, I think Mama Keys is pissed at me. That's okay though. I mean, I'm not one of these other people that are living in this neighborhood that are coming here. I'm just one that's compiled everything. And I just don't like the way it looks, got a guy bringing his gun over here, guy bringing his vodka over here, guy over here looking for his girlfriend that's messing with one of the Mexican guys over there. And it's like being trapped in a real YouTube while you're trying to stay away from this YouTube, right? It's not worth fucking around and finding out. It just isn't, and the shit never stops because, I mean, there was a portion of me that wanted to send a fuck around and find out to emergency me. But it's like, what is the point of that? Like she being very rude to Penny. Penny's done nothing to emergency me. Nothing. And when she sent me the screenshot of the message, I was just like, wow, that's emergency me. Just didn't expect that. I just sort of got neutrality out of her all the time, for the most part. And now this, right? Like, I don't know. This ain't that, and that ain't this. It's not. It's not even close to the same thing. Thank you, Love Lock. I'm sorry, love. I mean, it's, some of the best thinking I've come up with been in adversarial situations, right? That's how you get peace treaties. You don't get peace treaties with two places that aren't at war, right? You got to try to take that time to make it right, I don't know. I just never really been in a situation like that. I would say that this situation most closely related. This was like a Doug's situation. This was no thanks. Like, this is the sort of shit that a man that puts his beard in a ponytail might do. Just shit that you can't understand. You can't make hide nor hair of it. And you can remember other times you tried to make hide nor hair of it. And it may have taken a long time. You're like, nah, I don't even care about knowing, right? There's that wonder, but the payoff is nothing, right? So good morning, Crystal. Oh, thank you, Lovey. Thank you, Miss Jaded. I'm trying. I don't make country music, right? So quite naturally. So it's a little difficult to be immersed in as much music as I am right now and the people that go along with it. Like, it's hard to come from a scenario like what's going on over here currently, to go into the studio and, producing gangster rap for 12 hours. It's difficult. It's which one is the catalyst for the other, right? Do I go willingly to the studio and look forward to that, or do I arm myself? Of course, I arm myself. Hey, you're gonna go listen to gangster shit for all night. You're gonna listen to, the best rap music is the people that got the best gun verses, the best drug verses, the best, it's not the people that set it down and walk away from it, right? So it's a lot of negativity out there, and it's navigatable. You can navigate it. But Momo, you're absolutely right. But it's like, I knew it was going to be everything but what she said it was going to be. Right? She made it seem like if the friendship came to an end, that it was going to be no big deal, right? And it's kind of a big deal. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Like, you're privately tearing up someone, and she moved to private. You're privately tearing up someone while you got a lot going on in your own house, right? Hey, Jax. But that's just the way some people operate, right? Any little load they get put on them, they're gonna vent valve it on somebody else, and so just beware. It's just weird. Like, maybe she did all this because she wanted to tear Penny up for a couple of days in the Discord about text with Brad, but you had the same thing, Slithers. So I wonder why you're mad at her but didn't offer up yours. See, most people, in the event that someone says no, you might come back with a counter offer like, well, look, I'll give you mine right now. No, wasn't going to happen. So I don't even really know who the fuck she thinks she is. I mean, she doesn't live in a big castle or anything, right? She lives in a little duplex. So I don't know where it all stems from. But who she is to people is not who she wants them to be to her. There was jealousy. I think it could have been. However, like, Tiffany tried to turn a lot of people against a lot of folks. A whole lot of folks. And for what? For just for an agenda. Just to feel that you can, or you can, or whatever. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as buying nothing with the $1,500 check you didn't send in. It's the same thing. That's to buy clout. Right? Clout is the thing that'll have you doing dumb shit, and putting yourself at risk. So, yeah, I mean, I outwardly embrace change. I look forward to it. It means there's going to be a new adventure. There's going to be new lessons. Could be new people. Also, I guess more than that, it's you get an opportunity to show the world your shine, right? Yeah, I'm not going to leave, Leslie. So I know probably a lot of people thought this thing was going to look and sound and be different. And I apologize if it didn't meet the criteria for what you thought it might be. I just want the best for everybody. That's it. And I don't know, just there's a handful of things that she did that were just so super abrasive, like maintaining that everything was cool over there until a couple of days ago. That's weird. That's weird. That's like trying to hold on to the possession from fizzle as long as humanly possible, right? I just don't get it. And also, like, you know that you can say everything's cool when Benny says he's not going to. I'm not going to say anything, but then you said a whole lot, and you put me in a position, Slithers, because I don't care what anyone thinks about Fizzle. That's one of my best friends. So I'm supposed. Oh, I get it. She wanted me to stand around and let you and all them attack Fizzle, and then for me to not defend her, right? So that people could see me essentially not giving a fuck, right? That's basically what it is. Now, maybe you didn't design it that way. That's just the way the cards fell. Lucky you. I was going to say it wasn't fair, but of course it's not fair. Right? Yeah. Anyways, that's all I have. We're going to wrap it up right here at 3 hours, and I hope that everyone... It's the way of the world right now. I'm just glad that there's, hasn't been, some sort of public shooter in the group around here. It's just so stressful. It's very stressful. But this is my testimony for today. And I didn't come here to, I didn't come to go back and fix it with her. None of that. I wish her the best. And I told myself I'm going to close out with, do unto others as you want done unto you. But you got to have people in your life to do stuff to you or to behave correctly in front of. I mean, I don't have a whole bunch of people around me. The ones that I got around me, well, right here, it ain't the ones I chose. So it's not for lack of trying to choose, but I think that it's a sad statement. I think that if it stays the same, we could be okay. Oof. Right? But what's the parameter look like on that? Look, hey, Case K, thank you, baby. She said you're unapologetic at you, and that's what many of us love. Thank you. Just, I spent a lot of time here, Casey, trying to appease not even the masses, right? We've all seen the creators that get hung up on one comment all the time. Now, I've focused on one comment before, but I don't get hung up on that and the person that sent it. And it's just a lot of personality types here. And that's what makes it beautiful, I guess, right? Where is... Yeah. So listen to a song on the way out. This is one of my friends. I've made some videos for him. However, I did not shoot this video. This is Certified a Damn Fool. And it is Love and Hate. This is one of my favorite videos. Very. You guys have a great day.